Hello there, and welcome to the 31 Days of Halloween down at the Red Rabbit Hole. I'm author Jenny O'Brien, and you may have read some of my books, and you may not. I'm a multi-genre author. I've been writing for about 20 years. I started writing for children, then moved to romance, then crime, and I'm now currently writing historical fiction. More about that later. I'm here down the Red Rabbit Hole to talk to you about Halloween and all things spooky. Um, so we've been given some questions that maybe we should look at, think about answering. But two things I wanted to talk to you about were one, premonitions, and two, whether I'd ever seen a ghost and whether I believed in ghosts. In my family, we call them goats, just so you know. It's just an in-family joke thing. So premonitions. Premonitions are quite spooky in a way because there's no explaining them. And it's something that I do suffer from, I suppose, or they're imposed on me. I mean, I'd like to have a premonition about the lottery numbers, that would be brilliant, but it doesn't work like that. But I do sort of know when the telephone's going to ring. I sort of know if I'm going to meet somebody that I haven't seen for a while. I'll sort of think about them in the morning and then I'll go into town and I'll see them. And I won't have seen them or thought about them for 6 months, a year, longer. It's just that's the way it goes. And so, for instance, I've just recently retired, and one of my friends is expecting at work, and I thought there'd be a get together, a baby shower, and I hadn't done anything about it, and I knew the baby's due in a month or so, and I thought, well, it'll be coming up soon. And then one morning I woke up, this is last week, and I thought, right, when is this baby shower? I really need to get my act together. So I phoned my friend and I said, "Oh, I said, is such and such having a get together? I'd love to go." And she said, "Jen, I've only just come off the phone from booking it. How did you know?" And those are things that are called coincidences, but they're coincidences that seem to happen to me quite a lot. As I say, I'll never be rich because it doesn't happen with the lottery, but there you go. Ghosts. Do I believe in ghosts? Now that's difficult because I've never seen a ghost, and it's difficult to believe in something that you've never seen. So if you think about the movie The Sixth Sense, um, with Bruce Willis, great movie. But when I was watching the movie with my husband, I was into it, watching it about 20 minutes, and I sort of guessed, I knew that the twist. And I said to him, and he's not, I think he's ever forgiven me for working out that. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but working out the twist so quickly. But that's the way my brain works. So I would need to see something to believe it. But going back to my husband, he's very pragmatic, mathematical, right or wrong, no grey. And you would 100%, when you meet him, think he's not going to believe in ghosts of anybody. There's no way he's going to believe in goats, as we call them in our family. And he does. And it's the only thing, that's slightly, sort of spooky or paranormal or whatever that he believes in. And the reason is he's seen one and he's adamant he's seen one. Um, I'm not so sure, but he's adamant. So he went to Kent University and he used to share a house with four people. And he was in the middle bedroom, and there was a flat above and there was a flat below. And he'd been into the university bar. He'd had a few beers. And, this is where it sort of unravels because I think, well, he's dreamt it or something. Anyway, had a few beers, went to bed, woke up in the middle of the night, felt cold. And he looked at the end of his bed because he felt there was something watching him, somebody watching him. And there was this man standing at the end of his bed. Didn't recognize him. And not only did he not recognize him, but he was dressed in a traditional old-fashioned fisherman's outfit. Uh, salopettes, big heavy navy jacket, craggy face, etc. And he stared at him for a couple of minutes, sort of thinking, am I dreaming? Is it alcohol, hungover, whatever? And the guy faded, and then he fell back to sleep, and he didn't really think anything more of it. He went back to sleep, woke up the next morning, got up, went down to the kitchen, make himself a cup of tea, and the others were round the table, the other three or four people in the flat chatting. And what are you talking about? And they said, well, it's about this ghost we all saw last night. And his face would have drained to colour, he said, because every single person in the house who lived in different bedrooms, had different bedrooms on different floors, at approximately the same time was woken by an apparition standing at the end of their bed, in old fisherman's garb, staring at them for about 2 minutes. You would think these days, modern, 2025 AI, etc. Yes, somebody's pulling a fast one, a trick. This was in the 80s. There was no tech, there was no mobile phones, there was no internet. The AI didn't exist. AI would be thinking, people would be thinking it's a motorway, in those days, or a minor road or whatever. Um, there was nothing. So yeah, it makes me think possibly. Um, and that's really about all I've got to say on paranormal. It's coming up to Halloween soon. And the kids are all grown up, so I probably won't be trick or treating. I'll have to get some goodies in just in case somebody will comes around trick or treating. I don't want to be tricked. And apart from that, I'm just concentrating on my writing. My next book is going to be another historical, and it's about knitting. So it's called the Resistance Knitting Club. And for all those of you out there who knit, or craft, crochet, and read, that might be something for you. It's set in World War II, and it's about how women did work. So women worked, they knitted as well. They also had sewing bees, which the origin of the sewing bee, the name, is from World War II, and what the women used to do, group together, make clothes, etc. Make do and mend. That's what it was all about. They used to make socks for the troops, send them over, etc. But they also used to hide messages, some of them. If you have ever read Tale of Two Cities, Charles Dickens, Madame Dufarge, City Knitting by the Guillotine, that's where this book might take you. And that's it. If you just hold on a minute, I would like to thank you very much for coming and listening to me today. It's really all we have time for. Um, yeah, thank you for visiting in the steep dark hole. And to remind you to follow the Red Rabbit on social media, do subscribe as it costs you absolutely nothing. And it makes a big difference to the podcast. It encourages your usual hosts of Envy Peacock and Lisa Shepherd to continue with their mild ramblings, and with the likes of me adding mild ramblings as guests. And you can find my links in the show notes below and take a look at my books. Happy Halloween!